Okay, let's try this again. Hello YouTube, this is Mick the Buzz Monkey, and I just wanted to chime in on the thou shalt not kill vegetarian dialogue. And I'm going to try to keep myself under 10 minutes. I know I have trouble doing that, but I want to be as concise as possible. Okay, so as part of this conversation, I find it very interesting because Bella, I think, you're highlighting something very important, and that is that most Christians, whether knowing or unknowing, are hypocrites. Christianity makes you inherently hypocritical because of these little divisions, these little word splicings that people do. Depending on what translation of the Bible you use, murder is in the Ten Commandments, or it's kill. It's thou shalt not murder, or thou shalt not kill. It depends on what translation you use. So they interchange them freely. However, in this discussion, I guess I would Jesus Freak 777, saying that to murder means to kill a human and to kill means that you're killing something else. That is a dangerous splicing, a dangerous attempt to connote two different things. To say that it's two different things. To say that killing is one thing and murder is another. Because, and this sort of goes back to our other discussion about, inappropriate words and what it means when certain words are okay and certain words are not okay. When we say that it's wrong to murder but it's okay to kill, we then give ourselves the authority to determine what's human and what's not. And if you think about historically in the United States, look at American history. During American slavery, slaves were not considered human. They were considered slaves. And so it was nothing to kill a slave. But it was still considered murder to kill a white person. And we see this now, and some people here in America want to say that it's okay to kill anybody who's an Arab or from the Middle East because some people have decided that they are not human beings. And so it's killing them and not murdering them. So, but when does it stop? When does it stop? And I think ultimately the thing that Jesus Freak and other Christians are trying to come to terms with is the issue of our inherent nature. And our inherent nature is, of course, violence. We are a violent species. Arguably, human beings are the most violent, most destructive species on the planet. We have done more damage than anything, except for maybe meteors. But they're not alive. We have done more damage to one another, and we have done more damage to the planet. And so I think that the thing that they're trying to reconcile is the fact that we define ourselves by the violence that we do. We know we're alive when the shit around us is all blown up. We create cities, and we know that we're alive. We build, but in order to build, you have to destroy something else. And through that whole process, we identify ourselves as human beings, as a civilization. And they can't really reconcile the fact that something inherent in human nature is that violence. Because they don't want to acknowledge that something that they want to say is a sin. It's fundamental to their nature. And it's so fundamental that they can't live without it. Now, it is possible to live as a vegetarian. I lived as a vegetarian for 2 years, and I sort of liked being a vegetarian. However, at one point, I really wanted to eat chicken, and I wanted a hamburger. I still eat mostly vegetarian fare, but and it is possible to live pretty cheaply. I used to live on red beans or pintos, and rice. And I did fairly well like that. You can incorporate some fruit and be just fine as long as you don't care about food variety. Which I think some of the people who commented about how expensive it is expensive if you're concerned about food variety. If you just eat cheap shit that's good for you and you have the ability to cook, like with a hot plate or even a stove, then it's actually pretty easy to do. But here's the thing. And the thing that Christians cannot reconcile, because the thing they have to reconcile is also a sin, is that the only way that we can be as good as we want to be, the only way that we can possibly, not do damage, the only way that we cannot define ourselves by violence, that we cannot define ourselves by destruction, that we cannot define ourselves by the murder that we do, and we do it in the name of survival, is to die. And in actuality, that might be the only thing that we can do that actually helps the planet. Because when we die, our body rots, and we become fertilizer, which is good for the planet. But they don't want to acknowledge that, because then, suicide, the notion they think that this notion of suicide, which I'm not advocating, but it makes them feel like something they're thinking a wrong thing. And the reason they feel that way is because to lay down and die is contradictory to our very animal nature to live. The animal impulse to survive makes us do all of the violent things that we do, whether it's, killing a cow for steak, or slaughtering chickens, or, things we do in the name of self-defense and foreign policy. We do these things, things we do in the name of economic necessity, which, most of the wars we've been in have been about economic necessity. So, so in order for them to accept that, they would have to accept that they are not these divinely structured beings, but they are in fact just a highly formed animal. And they can't accept that either. So they want to splice terms and say kill is one thing, kill is when you're killing an animal, and murder is when it's a human being. And that is just absolutely bogus. I had a much more articulate way of talking about this, but I couldn't get it uploaded. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. And so, get over it. If you can't handle the fact that you are hypocrites, Christians, then stop. I mean, at least, please, kill murder, give me a break. It's all about the translation, and really the translations are all faulty. Because you're not reading a Latin Bible, you're not reading a Hebrew Bible or a Greek Bible. You're reading something that has been passed down from monks as far back as King James, and even they had political motivations for their translations. And if you don't believe me, look at all the books that are not incorporated into the Bible because of historical inaccuracies. Okay. Anyway, that's all I got to say. This is Mick the Buzz Monkey, and I got to go read student papers. Talk to you later.